Canelo was using the jab effectively, hard, the guy wouldn't have been able to come in because the guy was coming in because he wasn't worried about Canelo's jab. So he got more aggressive, he got brave. If he's not jabbing, he has no defense.
I really don't care how big Crawford is. If I'm Canelo, I'm going to disrespect it. You know, coming up 2 weight classes, you haven't fought at 68. You don't know how your body works.
He's got the heart, he's got the speed, the skills, and he's going to go out there. I was thinking he put up a good first 6 rounds, but then Canelo will start picking it up. But now I think Crawford will go for Crawford will get. I'm picking Crawford to win.
Mike Tyson has voiced serious concern over Canelo's future, cautioning that potential loss to Terence Crawford could be highly damaging. Tyson noted that in past fights, Canelo often failed to use his jab effectively, a weakness that gave opponents confidence and room to close the distance. He stressed that this time Canelo must refine his jab, apply it with sharper precision and consistent pressure to dictate the fight and prevent Crawford from building momentum.
Not going to jab, the guy's going to go right in him, like he did. Next fight, use a jab, different fight.
Veteran boxing analyst Teddy Atlas acknowledges that Canelo Alvarez has built one of the deepest resumes in the sport, having battled a long list of elite opponents across multiple weight divisions. In contrast, Terence Crawford has not faced as many marquee names, which some critics argue is expected from a fighter of his stature. Still, Atlas emphasizes that greatness isn't solely defined by resume size, but by a fighter's skill, adaptability, and composure under pressure. He highlights Crawford's exceptional timing, ability to control distance, and mastery of ring angles as key factors that can offset Canelo's physical advantages. According to Atlas, Crawford's calm demeanor and quick adjustments in the heat of battle may ultimately prove decisive.
He's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can carry it, but those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
For Canelo Alvarez, the stakes in this matchup go far beyond a simple victory or defeat. Terence Crawford is moving up 2 weight divisions, creating not only a rare challenge, but also adding pressure squarely on Canelo. If Alvarez were to lose under these circumstances, critics would argue he failed against a naturally smaller opponent despite having clear advantages in size, power, and experience. Such a result could spark doubts about his current status in the sport and tarnish his legacy as one of the era's top pound-for-pound fighters. This makes the fight a high-risk scenario for Canelo even before the opening bell.
I really don't care how big Crawford is. If I'm Canelo, I'm going to disrespect it. You know, coming up 2 weight classes, you haven't fought at 68. You don't know how your body's going to react, and you just think, you're just going to come up and beat me. We seen it with Charlo, his videos, how he was looking, moving around the ring, and everybody thought, that might work. And we saw what happened come fight night. Crawford is a skillful guy. Like, who has he really beaten? Spence. After Spence, now all of a sudden he can jump up 2 weight classes, beat Canelo. I don't see it. If I'm Canelo, I would have to make a statement with Crawford. Canelo cannot lose this fight. He shouldn't lose this fight.
David Benavidez speaks with conviction when discussing Terence Crawford's standing among boxing's elite. He regards Crawford as a rare fighter who operates on a higher plane of technical mastery and mental sharpness than most competitors in the sport today. Benavidez highlights Crawford's fluid ability to switch stances, his calmness under fire, and his knack for dictating tempo regardless of an opponent's approach. In his view, it's this blend of composure, precision, and tactical versatility that makes Crawford such a formidable and frustrating challenge inside the ring. For Benavidez, Crawford's greatest strength isn't just physical talent, but his exceptional fight IQ, enabling him to systematically dismantle even the most accomplished opponents.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. But Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Earl Spence, he showed what level he
on this type of dog. I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you know Terence won at 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 160.
Jeff Mayweather emphasizes a remarkable technical brilliance that has defined Terence Crawford's career, noting his rare ability to read opponents and make precise adjustments mid-fight. While he acknowledges Crawford's clear edge and pure boxing skill, Mayweather is quick to caution that Canelo Alvarez's power and experience remain dangerous weapons. Time and again, Canelo has shown he can alter the momentum of a fight with a single perfectly timed punch, while also thriving in high-stakes battles against some of boxing's biggest stars. Jeff stresses that overlooking Canelo's adaptability and knack for exploiting even the smallest openings will be a critical mistake, not only for Crawford, but for any fighter who shares the ring with him.
It's kind of tough, but if anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win.
Max Kellerman's analysis zeroes in on the jab as a decisive factor in this matchup. He emphasizes that Terence Crawford's jab ranks among the sharpest and most efficient in modern boxing, allowing him to dictate range, set up combinations, and break an opponent's rhythm. This precise control of tempo has been a cornerstone of Crawford's success. In contrast, Kellerman points out that while Canelo Alvarez once used his jab as a major weapon to neutralize aggressive foes, in recent years has become less consistent and far less frequent. That decline, he warns, could leave Canelo exposed to Crawford's discipline and relentless use of the lead hand.
List of attributes, and then tell me who do you feel is best in that attribute. First attribute, best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring.
Gary Antoine Russell highlights the cultural and stylistic contrasts that often shape great boxing matchups. He explains that Canelo Alvarez represents the classic Mexican style, built on calculated pressure, punishing body shots, and sharp counterpunching. On the other hand, Terence Crawford embodies a rhythm, fluidity, and defensive sharpness long associated with African-American boxing traditions. According to Russell, this stylistic clash creates a compelling dynamic, as both fighters will look to impose their rhythm while simultaneously dismantling the strengths that define the other's approach.
Canelo, he is mastered his style. Now, typically, Latinos, they got their own style versus melanated black people. Having like more rhythm, more flashiness and panache to their stuff, more swag.
Yeah.
We just fight different than other ethnicities. If you want to throw Amir Khan in there, this ethnicity, he was in and out.
Yeah, that's the European kind of style.
Textbook, you know, but that was his style. Canelo got his style and he mastered it. Terence Crawford cannot take nothing away from him. He's like freakishly good, you know. He go both sides, southpaw, orthodox, you know. And I feel like he adapt well. But it don't take much to get hit, especially these little 8-ounce gloves. He cannot slip up. He cannot slip up. You gonna have to stay set from bing to bing from round 1 to 12, and he better be in shape. We're talking about like not 12 round shape. We're talking about 16-round shape.
Trainer Robert Garcia has openly voiced his support for Terence Crawford in this highly anticipated matchup. Garcia praises Crawford's relentless work ethic, discipline, and commitment to perfecting boxing fundamentals. He believes Crawford's success at the highest level highlights the importance of technical skill and ring intelligence, serving as a positive example for the sport. Though Garcia respects Canelo Alvarez and acknowledges his impressive accomplishments, his personal hope is to see Crawford come out victorious.
I always, I love Crawford. He knows that. I've seen him. I've talked to him many times, and I wish him the best. I'm actually very happy for him and Womack for everything they've done and the big fight that they're getting. You know, in this sport, making it to those fights and making it to those paydays, you gotta be happy for anybody that makes it there. So Womack knows, Crawford knows. Now I'm actually, after Canelo's performance, I'm actually leaning towards Crawford to win this fight. Why is that? What's changed? I know Crawford. He's got the heart. He's got the speed, the skills, and he's gonna go out there. I was thinking he put up a good first 6 rounds, but then Canelo will start picking it up. But now I think Crawford will go for the. I think Crawford will get. I'm picking Crawford to win.
Omari Jones sees Terence Crawford's preparation for this fight as a true example of professionalism. Instead of adding bulk recklessly and risking the loss of speed or stamina, Crawford has carefully built up weight through a focused program of nutrition and conditioning. This method allows him to maintain the agility and sharpness that define his style, while also developing the durability required to take on a naturally bigger opponent like Canelo Alvarez. Jones believes this approach gives Crawford the best chance to win, while reducing the usual disadvantages of moving up in weight.
Like, me personally, meeting Crawford several times, it's like, the man is just so competitive. It's like, I don't even have to say nothing to him. You're just like, man, when we sparring, it's like his competitiveness is always going to put him over the edge, and then he just has that, like, I'm not gonna let you bully me, or, you know, his skill set. And it, you know, I know they talk about Charlo moved up, but I feel like it may be a little bit different for Canelo this time around, because Crawford took the weight, the moving up in weight classes serious. He did the diet and he did the training. So I feel like when you put in work like that, you know, it's a win-win.
So you don't think Crawford, you know, gaining that weight, because I saw him, he's pretty big. You don't think that's going to be a disadvantage for him in this fight?
No, it looked like he put it on the right way. You know, the nutrition, the you know, like I said, the training. You know, Crawford, he trains hard, so I feel like, I know they say he probably went up to like 185, so he has to lose that weight. But I think if he did it the right way, which I know he did, he'll be successful in September.
And I know, you, like we discussed earlier, you know, we talked with your pro debut, and now you're 3-0. Your last fight, July 19th against Blanco, and it was actually your 3rd win by knockout.
Yes.
Super proud of you. How are you feeling about your pro career so far?
I'm feeling great about my pro career. I definitely feel like it's off to a great start.
Paulie Malignaggi adds to the conversation by commending Terence Crawford's ability to strike the perfect balance in his physical preparation. He notes that Crawford has built the muscle needed to withstand Canelo's power, while preserving the speed that enables him to counter effectively and evade pressure. Malignaggi credits this to Crawford's disciplined training camp and meticulous attention to every detail, from nutrition to sparring. In his view, such preparation may prove crucial in determining whether Crawford can successfully impose his style against Canelo.
Wait, what's your thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, Roy Jones is Roy Jones, but also Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford. But John Ruiz is not Canelo Alvarez, so that's another aspect of that comparison. And yes, you know, exactly what the champ said, exactly what Abel Sanchez said. You know, you're going to put on weight, you're going to be a different fighter. And I can say this even as a fighter as myself. As I've gotten heavier in my retirement, I try and move around the gym. It just feels different. And even when you start camp, you feel different in the beginning than you do at the end. But listen, we're still 4 or 5 weeks away. I don't know exactly what Terence is weighing right now. And even if he does say what he weighs, and he's gone out there and said he's weighed, you know, all types of crazy numbers just to get people to get media to respond. So it's really not really going to know until the fight. We see these guys next to each other. He might look bigger right now, but he might not be that heavy. He might still be in the range that these guys are targeting for the fight itself.
Stephen Breadman Edwards emphasizes that Terence Crawford's mastery of movement is a cornerstone of his success. He explains that Crawford's ability to control distance forces opponents into awkward positions, causing them to miss while exposing themselves to sharp counters. Paired with elite conditioning, this movement allows Crawford to sustain a high tempo throughout 12 rounds without fading. Edwards believes this mobility will be vital in neutralizing Canelo Alvarez's pressure and preventing him from cutting off the ring. He also highlights Crawford's mental toughness, which keeps him composed even when facing heavy offensive fire.
Slips, he's really good. But Crawford is just so clutch. His conditioning is so good. They're gonna be about similar heights. Crawford's a little taller, he's longer. And I think that Crawford's adjustments in fights are so underrated. He is a master adjuster. He finds something in every fight and just goes with it. That last fight, people talk about he struggled. You know what he found that last fight? A simple jab. He just started beating the guy up with a jab. He finds something in every fight. And he don't fight a lead fight. Canelo, for as good as he is, he hasn't stopped anybody since 2021. That's 4 years. You know why? Because he gets a little tired and gets like a little bit complacent. He's a power puncher. Anybody that punched that hard don't want to go 4 years without a stoppage. You haven't got a stoppage because you don't have the conditioning and the stamina to push a guy over the edge after he hurt him or after, when the guy's running away from him, to still be able to go get him. He don't want to go the distance in all these fights. You think he wants to go the distance with Jamel Charlo and John Ryder and Edgar Berlanga and Triple G at 68? He don't want to, but he don't have that extra gear anymore, in my opinion, to get guys out of it.
Canelo Alvarez's recent outing against William Skull has raised concerns among both analysts and fans. His punch output appeared lower than usual, and his movements lacked the urgency and precision that once defined his prime. Rather than dictating the pace, Canelo frequently reacted to Skull's offense, giving his opponent more comfort and space than expected. This uncharacteristic hesitance has sparked doubts about whether Canelo still possesses the stamina and sharpness to control elite fighters over 12 rounds. Critics warn that if these lapses continue, a versatile opponent like Terence Crawford could exploit them effectively.
And after really the Triple G fight is when we've seen the slippage on Canelo. And over the last 2 years, it's been immediately apparent. It's been apparent straight away over the last 2 years. Canelo's feet have always been slow. He's always been very slow-footed. So when people are saying, oh, look, his legs are slowing down, yeah, they are. They've never been quick, but now they're even slower, which is a problem. And Jim Lampley on commentary on Friday Night Show was saying that one of Canelo's biggest strengths is his legs. He generates power and it helps with his punch resistance. Well, those legs slide and that power is diminishing. Canelo hasn't had a stoppage win now since he knocked out Plant in 2021. And yeah, he's dropped some of these guys, but he's not been able to step on the gas and finish them. He's not been able to go through the gears. His gas tank, you can put that into question as well. And Canelo Alvarez, come July, will be 35 years old. So he is, look, Canelo's been around so long, and his real prime was in his mid-20s. So we associate Canelo, mid-20s to early 30s. So we kind of associate Canelo with that. I don't want to say ever young, but he is still young, just not in boxing senses. But he's been around so long, 20 years a pro, and he's been at world levels for probably 15 of those. You're going to expect some slippage. And I think in this fight, an opponent, it was very negative, yes, but an opponent who Canelo Alvarez of 5 years ago would have handled, and he did handle, but you know what I mean, he probably would have put some damage on William Skull. He did.
Sean Porter, along with other analysts, believes Terence Crawford's path to victory depends on a game plan built around distance control and smart angles. By constantly shifting positions and forcing Canelo to reset, Crawford can disrupt his rhythm and slow his forward momentum. Over the course of the fight, this approach could gradually wear Canelo down both physically and mentally. Porter stresses that mental discipline will be just as critical as physical skill, noting that the fighter who stays composed, focused, and consistent from start to finish is most likely to prevail.
So I haven't seen that Terence Crawford against Canelo in these two press conferences. They're having dinner, they have the presser in Riyadh, they have the presser in New York. That's a weak-ass push by Canelo. And, you know, that is not Canelo, what he did with Caleb Plant, that was real. You know, he slipped him and then slapped him, and that was like, okay. This felt like, hey, social media saying you guys are being too friendly. We're paying you all this money. We're putting the knockout bonus there. Come on, we got a fight to sell. Let's heat this up a little bit. Obviously, they're both great fighters, and they're both coming to win, and you know, but you know, I don't want to get too deep into it today, but you know my thoughts on this, the big picture, like what's looming, the fight to me, because I'm the journalist, right, is an after.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.